recorded. I love Flatbush.
You can clean it up a little bit.
So I'm talking to my heart. Where'd you put it? Oh, you didn't put it on yet.
It's on.
Let me
It's
tell you
on.
what I really feel.
It's here.
Oh, I could walk around there.
I guess.
Okay, hi ladies. I'm so excited to have you back. I'm sorry that we didn't have class last week, but that wasn't my decision. As of now, with God's help, B'li Neder, we should be having class. I think the only time is going to be, I will let you know before. Oh, did you announce how they can connect?
If you are not on the WhatsApp chat, you can let me know your name and phone number. We'll get you on. There's a WhatsApp chat through the SCA to find out if there are classes that are canceled or any other classes. So there's
Yeah, that's important.
there's a paper here.
So David, I'm not on WhatsApp, so what do I do?
Right, but normally we have class, so
Yeah.
we'll announce it.
The only one that I can tell you now, with God's help, we should all stay healthy. Wednesday is Shushan Purim. Okay, Purim is on a Tuesday. That Wednesday will not be class. Okay, because I'm in Israel. So it's the parents' yard site. So I go for next Wednesday with God's help. Next couple of Wednesdays with God's help. The way I think so. That's the only Wednesday that I know. Okay, Rose, here we go. Okay, so we gapped. The last time we were together was Parashat Vayigash. We were still in Bereshit. We are now well into Sefer Shemot. This week's Parsha is Beshalah, or Beshalah, which is a very big thing. It's Az Yashir this week. Shirat Hayam. As a matter of fact, it's it's also a big Shabbat for praying for Parnasah, which we'll hopefully get to if I get to it by the time the class ends, because the story of the man is in this week's Parasha, and Parshat Haman, there's a whole section of prayer for Parshat Haman. People say that God should help them to make a nice living. So there's a lot of stuff happening, but I'm not bypassing the first three, which is Shemot, Ve'era, and Bo. So I'm going to refer to things that I love about these Parashiyot. And of course, what is the most important topic to talk about when learning Torah? What's the most important part of our Torah? Are you sitting there? Are you like 90? What is that? Yetziat Mitzrayim is important. I'm going to take you. And of course, what's the most important part of Yetziat Mitzrayim? I am shocked. I am disappointed. Say it again. Women.
Oh.
Women.
You're still sucking up.
I learned. Give the people what they want. But this is not a joke. The most important part of Yetziat Mitzrayim, of the first three parashot, including this week's parsha, which I actually didn't write, but I'll mention it to you, is women. How do I know that? Because the rabbis say it. And this is not something that I made up to make you feel good. It's the top of the page. Women's role in bringing the redemption. Sages said that the merit of righteous women, our ancestors were redeemed from Mitzrayim. It says it. B'schut, I wrote the English, in Hebrew, B'schut nashim tzidkaniyot nigalu min Mitzrayim. This is not a Besser line. Straight out of the Gemara. The first thing they talked about right away was the fact that the men gave up hope. And this is really it's the thread that goes through, and I'll show you, specific women, general women, women who weren't even Jewish, which we'll talk about today. It is their faith that saved us. The top line talks about that the men would work. It was a very difficult time for them. But it was not only physically, it was emotionally and spiritually broken. And that was one of the goals of Mitzrayim, to spiritually and emotionally break us, like other nations have tried to do. And it was the women who said, no, we have to be strong. The men just gave up, didn't want to have families anymore. And without doing things too graphically, the women specifically made themselves more whatever in order to say, no, we have to have more children. Now you're going to think that that's not important. So one of the most important things I say every year when it comes to this time, and you need to see why it's so important, is that God said it was that important. How do I know? So in Shemot, Exodus chapter 30, which is the next thing, number 2, I'm sorry. Which parsha is that one? Kitisa. Or Kisisa. So in Parashat Kitisah, which is not this week, in a couple of weeks, it talks about the various vessels that were in the Mishkan. One of the most important vessels was everybody should know this because I've said this, but you should know this, if you've never heard it, was the kior. What is the kior?
Sink.
It was the basin, right. A sink, yeah, it's a basin. We're talking about a Borough Park house. It's not just a sink. It's a basin, yeah. It has to fit the chandelier. Okay. So the Torah says, Hashem says to Moshe, Vasita kiyor nechoshet, make a washstand of copper, the kano nechoshet, the base of copper, yada yada yada. What is this used for? You guys are with me, right? V'rachatzu Aaron u'banav mimenu tidehem, and Aaron and his children would wash their hands before they start the daily rituals. Here's the big one. There it is. You ready? Vayas et hakiyor nechoshet, and it was made out of copper, and the base was made out of copper. B'marot hatzovot asher tzavu petach ohel moed, from the mirrors of the women who set up the legions. Ladies, this is open Torah. Says Rashi. Ready? Israelite women owned mirrors, which they would look into them when they adorned themselves. All of a sudden, there was a run on Revlon. And they brought all their cosmetic things to the Mishkan. You want a sheet? This is over there. You need? I'm so sorry. No, I just... No, it's okay. It's okay. All right. Yeah, we can't give you credit for the class unless you have a sheet. All right? Even these mirrors, they did not hold us back from bringing as a contribution towards the Mishkan. Moses rejected them because they were made for temptation. Whatever, I don't want to say what it says there. But Hashem blessed, he said, accept them. Are you guys following what I'm saying? For these, who's saying this? Who's being quoted? Hashem is being quoted. For these are more precious to me than anything, because through them the women set up many legions. Okay, I'm going to explain. But let's start with scratch again. Which means, what the women did, which is not lose faith, and therefore said, no, God runs the world, that's not my issue. We're having children. We're having a family. There is a future, honey. And they did it through physical situation. It's not just, okay, top of the line. Moshe didn't want to do this. Moshe said, in the Mishkan, you're going to put something that's cosmetic, that's makeup, right? Hashem said, no, top of the line. So first of all, right away you see that God's understanding of women's faith is very big. Everybody with me? Now I'll tell you what Hashem made it even more precious, and you should know this by now. What is that? We've said this. What is the highest level a person could reach in this world? Not being a monk on a mountain and not speaking, talking, or eating anything for 5 years. No, that's not what God wants. He has enough of them with the... He put us here. Our job is to be physical and to uplift the spirit. Now I'm going to show you, and you should know this because it's a famous one. Every single morning, we wash our hands. The bracha that we make, bottom left, is... Guys, it's there just in case. It's actually washing hands with the bracha under it, you know. No, what's the bracha? Beautiful. How do you say wash? ליטול?
ליטול ידיים.
לרחוץ. בעברית, אני הולך לרחוץ את הידיים שלי. אני הולך לטול את הידיים שלי. What's netilat mean? So let me think. I'm going to Google netilat and brachot. So those of us who are Sephardic have no idea what this next bracha is. Those of us who are Ashkenaz should know what this next bracha is. Okay, guys, by now you should know it's the next thing on the sheet, to the right. I mean, come on. How many years we got to do this? There's a bracha. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat lulav. I say Ashkenaz, you guys know that the Sephardic, do the Ashkenaz girls know that Sephardic women don't make this bracha? Yeah. You didn't know that? I didn't know that. Yeah, they don't. There's a very famous machloket halachically between the Rambam and Rabbeinu Tam. So that's the machloket between the Rambam. It's a nice halacha. I'll do it in 10 seconds. You should know this. Rambam, it's a Rambam, and Rabbeinu Tam was Rashi's grandson. It's based on the Gemara in Kiddushin, which we don't have to go through. No, it's not that complicated. It's just I want to move on. Does a person say a bracha on a mitzvah that they don't have to do? That's the machloket. So women don't have to do a mitzvah tasei shazman grama, right? We know that, right? They don't have to sit in the sukkah. They don't have to. Question is, if she wants to do the mitzvah, does she say a bracha? The controversy is based on how can you say the word vitzivanu? You say Shekidishanu b'mitzvotav, right? God vitzivanu, and He commanded us to do this. He didn't command me. So the Rambam's shita based on the Gemara is that we don't say vitzivanu. I mean, women don't say vitzivanu, or anybody who's not chayav. Actually, it's based on the Gemara that has nothing to do with women. Anybody remember the Gemara? It's about the rabbi who was blind. Does he have to say a bracha? No. Yeah, that's what it's discussing. It's about a person who is potter from doing a mitzvah. So, and Rabbeinu Tam says you do. They went straight down the line, which means party line, partisan lines, like last night's speech, right? We've got the Chaber, which is the Rabbi Yosef Karo. The Shulchan Aruch goes like the Rambam, and the Rambam goes like Rabbeinu Tam, and therefore, let me shock all Sephardic women in the room. Every Ashkenaz woman that I know, I mean, from my family, my mother, may she rest in peace, my mother-in-law, may she rest in peace, my daughters, my wife, jump up in the morning in Sukkot, grab that drug of lulav, sometimes even earlier than I do, and say a bracha. All the Ashkenaz women, when they sit in the Sukkah, say Asher Kedishanu Mesotav Etzivanu, Neshev B'Sukkah. Every Ashkenaz woman. Right? All right? I don't know if this is majority. I don't know if we got the Senate here or not. Yeah. Do not. How come? Because the Rambam says no. Yep, that's the machloket. It's a very famous machloket. By the way, I'm glad you said it because I find that people do not know sometimes the other customs. So that's the custom. Now, so when men and Ashkenaz women say Shekidushan Tzutav Tzivanu Al Netzilat Lulav, girls, tell me what it says in English. What does it mean? God commanded me to take up, to raise, right? To uplift. That, by the way, is based on the pasuk. The pasuk of lulav is, you don't have to see, it doesn't say it, I'll tell it to you. It says, Ulikachtem lachem bayom harishon. Pick up a drug of lulav. So that makes sense for a drug of lulav. Why am I saying that tzilat? Yadai. Nice question. Next page. So, why do we wash our hands every morning? Yafeh ma'od. So I forgot that's here. There are a lot of reasons. So, of course, the most famous reason is the one that I actually, and I'll say it on tape, I actually understand the least. I know it, I just don't know how it works. But supposedly, not supposedly, we have some sort of tumah on us, through the night. One can say sleeping is like death. Ever try to wake up your teenage kid? Yeah, sleeping is like death. Some people say, based on the famous, the fact that Hashem takes our neshama for a second upstairs, whatever. So there is some sort of death concept. So when we wake up, there's some sort of tumah. That is the famous one, and I'm going for that. But there's one that's not as famous, and here it is. The fifth, it's so not famous, it's the fifth reason. So the fifth reason is quoted by Rabbeinu David Abudraham, who writes that just as the Kohanim were obligated to wash their hands before performing the holy service of the Beit HaMikdash, so too one must sanctify one's hands upon awakening from one's sleep, and yada yada. Which means the reason we wash our hands in the morning is what did the Kohanim do before they started their day with God? They washed their hands. So we too, we're getting up and we're starting our day with God, right? We're doing our service to God. We wash our hands. You ready? So give me 2 minutes. So now I want to do something I hope you'll enjoy. Put 2 and 2 together and make you excited. The point of washing hands is, for the Kohanim, were they dirty? Why did the Kohanim wash their hands? The point of washing hands is because hands represents our physical being. These are our hands. God gave us our hands. What am I doing with my hands? Am I using it for things that are not necessarily holy? Or am I taking the physical situation and elevating it? Now clearly, what are the Kohanim doing? What does the Kohen do? What's he doing? He's doing the holy stuff. So he's taking his hands, he's washing his hands, and he's uplifting his hands to a spiritual level, correct? The basin was made out of the mirrors of the women. What did the women do? They took the physical qualities and they raised them to a high spiritual level. So when I wash my hands in the morning, I'm not washing my hands. It's not about soap and dirt. What am I doing? I am elevating my hands to a spiritual level. And therefore we say Netilah. Sold? Oh, good. That was a great sale. Yeah.
I want to see some verses saying that in the city will camp and sleep there. I don't know where I saw it.
That's what people say when they watch Netilas Yadayim. You never saw that? They see we from Kodesh? Yeah.
Not everyone university does.
No. Only the special people. Yeah, like your kid. Yeah, not me. Okay, we did it. Done. Everybody got it? Mm-hmm. So just, again, why did I bring this in? Because I happen to like it. And I also brought it in because you see that original thing, that B'schut Nashim Sitzkanot, if you think about it, right? Somebody thinks, I mean, I want to say this carefully. If I say to you, B'schut Nashim Sitzkanot, right, because it's Nashim Sitzkanot, we got out of Mitzrayim. So what's your vision? You're saying Perek Shira for 40 days. You're at the Kotel saying Tehillim all night, right? You're dressed with bulletproof stockings all day. No, I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. It talks about them making sure that they look pretty for their husbands.
May I ask you a question?
Please, as long as it's clean.
No, because you say in the morning,
Yeah.
that the line, because you wake up from a damaged situation. But why we send it right the line before we eat lunch, before we eat?
That's for something else. The food and the morning are two separate and actually we wash differently. I don't want to also break a little thing over here. In the morning we go like this because of the tumah. The other one has something for other things. Okay. Now let's go back. I want to point out something that's very famous that happened last week's Parsha, and again is connected to the most important thing in the Torah, which is
Women.
See, you're learning, girls. You're learning. By the end of the day. Something happened last week that I mentioned again before, but I think we could delve a little more into it very quickly. Something very big. Something that is till today, that makes us different than the other nations. We basically count our dates and our months differently than the entire world. We know that, right? The world uses the solar calendar, and we use the lunar calendar. When did that start? In last week's Parsha, which is Yitziat Mitzrayim. How do I know? Because it says it. So last week's Parsha, chapter 12, in Parashat Bo, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe el Aaron be'eretz Mitzrayim lemor. HaChodesh hazeh, this month, which month is that? Nisan. That's when they left Mitzrayim. HaChodesh hazeh lachem rosh chadashim. From now on, you're starting a new way of counting your life. And that's why, of course, what's the first month? The first month is called, it's not first month, I mean, you're right. Okay, Tishrei is the first month of the year. In the Chumash, Tishrei is month number 7. This is B'chodesh HaShvi'i. The first month is called Nisan. It says B'chodesh HaShvi'i. You got that? And from now on, you do that. Agreed? Mm-hmm. I'm going to harp on the word lachem. Lachem is funny. HaChodesh HaZeh Rosh Chodashim. That's what I would have said. Moshe, Aaron, this is the first month. Everything God says is for you. I understand that, right? What is the need to say lachem? If you think as a matter of fact, it says, now that I mentioned lulav, by lulav it says ulkachtem lachem b'yom rishon. You know what we learned from there? That you can't make a bracha on somebody else's lulav. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. If somebody wants to give you a lulav, you can't borrow a lulav. You have to take it at matana and then give it back. Remember that Gemara? No? Yeah. Then you have to do matana and not lachzir. Of course, you can't steal a lulav either. That's obvious. No, but the word lachem means something. Why does it say lachem? So there's the Perush Pashut, then there's us, because we go deeper. Perush Pashut is, who decides when Rosh Chodesh is?
The witnesses.
Right, we do. Do you guys know that?
Yeah, 2 witnesses.
That the original time was we decide when Rosh Chodesh is. And God gave us the power. The Beit Din has to have 2 witnesses who see, when is it Rosh Chodesh, by the way? When the new sliver. By the way, did you ever again, I'm really sorry, Sephardic women. Ashkenaz women, if you don't know what I'm about to say, then you shouldn't be here. Do you remember Rosh Chodesh benching? And the rabbi says, the moled will be... Okay. I think you guys want to become Ashkenazi after this class, no? In the Ashkenaz shul, every Shabbat before Rosh Chodesh, the rabbi announces when the moled is. What does that mean? When the first sighting of the sliver of the new moon. That's the moled. In Yerushalayim, by the way. That's what it is. So, the way it used to be in the old days, when the Beit Din was 2 witnesses had to see the sighting of the new moon, right? And then they came and said, this is Rosh Chodesh. Because Rosh Chodesh could be one day, it could be the next day. You guys with me? It depends on how many days in the month. Am I going too fast? No. Good. That means if Eidim did not come and the Beit Din didn't announce it, it is not Rosh Chodesh. So many rabbis learn, Chodesh lachem. You make the Chodesh. You like that?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a little ditty that you can show that you really know a lot, which you probably do know more than I do? Do you ever wonder in the end, Shabbat prayers and Kiddush, we say, this is brand new, so listen. It says, Baruch Atah Hashem Mikadesh HaShabbat. Right? Okay. In holiday, what do we say? Baruch Atah Hashem Mikadesh, come on, Yisrael V'Hazmanim. Right? You got that? How about the Shabbat and holiday? So it's Mikadesh HaShabbat Yisrael V'Hazmanim. Right? That's a funny order. What two fit together? Shabbat and Zmanim. So why don't we just say either Mikadesh Yisrael HaShabbat V'Hazmanim, or say what? Mikadesh Shabbat V'Zmanim V'Yisrael. The answer is very simple. Who makes Shabbat holy? Who makes Zmanim holy? We do. So it has to say like this. You get it? Baruch Atah Hashem Mikadesh HaShabbat. God, you're making Shabbat holy. Then there's a Yisrael. Then there's a Hazmanim. All from this word lachem. How cool is that? So that's what lachem came. But I want to offer a second reason why lachem is there. Do you know why? Oh, let's think. Why are we lunar? Why is that so important? What's the lesson of being a lunar people?
Because we
So there
wax.
were 2 lessons. Yes.
The movement is very humble.
Okay.
And the B'nai Yisrael, the Kamiyab is going to fight between the sun and the moon.
Okay. So now there are 3 reasons. So we learned about the humility of the moon. Okay, I don't want to break the bubble, but I think the moon is the one that complained, actually. So yeah, I don't know how humble he is. The moon is the guy. The moon is the guy where the kid says she got a bigger piece of candy than I was. So I don't know if I want to be moonies. Yeah.
The Jewish people's fortunes wax and wane. There are times when we look
Good.
like
Good.
we're in this.
Hold. That's the second page. So before that, the first one is the moon. Does it have its own light?
Reflects sunlight.
Right. Our job is pasuk in Yeshayahu. You see it, Yeshayahu, right there? It's big. It says Isaiah. Yeah. Hashem made us the what? Or Lagoyim. Our job is to reflect God's, Hashem's light into this world. That's our job. And that's why we have to be very careful with everything we do. We have to always make a Kiddush Hashem. We have to be the example. We're the kids that God turns to and says to the other people, why aren't you like these people? Or these people are supposed to look at us and say, how beautiful are God's people. So that's why it's HaChodesh Hazeh, what? Lachem. I'm using the moon so you should know your job in this world. And that's why many people say that the menorah is a symbol of the nation of Israel, because what's the job of a menorah? It's to bring the light. Or like a nice. And now your reason. And let's go back to women. That's the whole point. We're on page 3, I think. Yeah. It's a 3. That used to be a 3, and it became a 2. But it can't be a 2 because there's another page 2. You see how Gemara works? It's fascinating. Okay, there we go. Yeah, lunar cycle. Exactly what you just said. What's my lesson from the lunar cycle? The Jewish calendar is based on lunar cycle. So, okay, guys, you know this, right? You guys ever look at the moon? Yes, of course. Everybody looks at the moon, right? Yeah. A lot of beautiful songs by looking at the moon. Moon River. No? So it starts off small, then it gets bigger. When in the month is it the biggest? In the middle, which there's a whole, we'll talk about that next week. The 15th, then it wanes, and then it looks like it what? Looks like it disappears. And then what happens? It starts again. So Hashem says this is the life of the Jewish nation. They're going to be ups, they're going to be downs, but there's always going to come back. Who are the people who kept this up? The women. And I'll read the thing. Okay, it's nice what it says here. Faith tells me no matter what's ahead of me, God is already there. And Emunah means to see the light with your heart when your eyes only see darkness. How beautiful is that? That's exactly what we're talking about. And okay, I've learned that faith means trusting in advance. The Rebbe. Thank you so much. If it says the Rebbe on the internet, who is that? The Lubavitcher Rebbe, absolute. The Rebbe, by the way, this is a Chabad.org site. Therefore, they have no need to write the Rebbe because you already, you got on Chabad.org. If you don't know who the Rebbe is at Chabad.org, have a good day. The Rebbe continued to explain, and he was talking about the lunar cycles. This Rebbe, you see what it says the Rebbe, is a continuation of the top. I just put those little things in the middle because they look cute. The Rebbe continued to explain that all of Judaism, that's lachem, for you, all of Judaism is this strong faith. And through faith at times, faith at times can be fuzzy, right? We're not sure, it doesn't look too good. We don't want to go through tough times, girls. We know what tough times were in our nation. It is the women who in every situation, this is the Rebbe talking, in every situation remain steadfast in his faith, to pass it on to their children, yada, yada, yada. And therefore, every girl should know, Rosh Chodesh is whose holiday? Women. The ladies. You look it up, any sefer, any rabbi. I mean, it goes with things, because you're not supposed to sew on Rosh Chodesh, girls. Lori, stop doing the karach on Rosh Chodesh. No, I don't want to start up with anybody. You're really not supposed to be doing laundry on Rosh Chodesh either, by the way. You should not be doing laundry on Rosh Chodesh. Making supper.
He's not going to say no to that.
What does a Jewish girl make for supper? Reservations. That's not so much. What? There are certain milachot that they talked about that are specific work detail. But I will tell you that a fine custom, a really fine custom would be for every Jewish mother or girl or wife to do something special on Rosh Chodesh or not do something not special. No, I'm not saying this. Open Shulchan Aruch, and why? Because the whole Rosh Chodesh, right, is about renewal. What does the word Chodesh come from? Chadash. Mazeh Chadash. To renew yourself. It's the entire thing, and it's Lubavitcher. Look, I have great respect for Lubavitcher Rebbe, of course, but you don't need Lubavitcher Rebbe to tell me that. This comes from our Parashiot, that it was the women who remained steadfast in the faith. 100%. Move on. Do we like women yet? No, not yet?
I just want to say something. I remember saying this last year.
Okay.
That there was a gentleman who created you, a young fellow, late 20s, early 30s, and they heard that he was violent, he was a big shot in the Israeli army. They sent him to come to West Point. And I'm sure, a very large percent of the young gentlemen West Point, they're Zion. And they said, don't you know, you're a Jew, you're a light to all the nations.
Oh, nice.
What do I have to do now? You see? Because he became very God-fearing and eventually opened up his yeshiva. But it was a schus that somehow get to the West Point for God to tell him that we are the light of all nations.
Wow.
And I remember saying, but
That's a great fundraiser for him. Tell me. All right, here we go. Let's go back to one of my favorite stories of all time. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember, I uncovered a little bit something about this last year and went more into it and blew my mind, but let's go back to the beginning of Shemot. So till now we've talked about women in general, all of Klal Yisrael, all. Now I want to hit upon 2 or 3 specifics. So the first 2 women that really showed unbelievable faith were Shifra and Puah. Okay? I mean, in this school, you just say Shifra, you already know it's something good. You know? Right? You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. Yeah. It comes from a good background. So we know the story, right? The king of Mitzrayim, this is Sefer Shemot, Parashat Shemot, the king of Mitzrayim, Paro, wanted to annihilate, right, the final solution. So at first, I mean, there's a lot of reason why he started this way, but at first, I guess he still might have been afraid diplomatically, of the people in Mitzrayim. You do have to understand that for years, the Egyptians totally respected the Jews because of whom? And Yaakov. Oh, you know that when Yaakov came, the Ra'av stopped. I'm going back to Bereshit for a minute. So they had this tremendous reverence for Yaakov and for Yosef. So whoever this Paro is, there's an argument if it's the same Paro or it's the same Paro or different Paro. Whatever you have to do, you have to totally twist the minds of the Egyptians. But whatever. So he didn't go full out. So he figured he'll do it quietly. So it says, you know the story. One name is Shipra, one name is Pua, and when you give birth to Ivriot and you see them, kill them. Okay, we know the story. So Pasuk Yud Zayin says, "Vatirena ham yaldot et Elohim." The midwives, however, feared God and didn't do what he said. Of course, they put their life on the line, right? And they had the children live. Rabbi Tversky, Rabbi Dr. Tversky, says something really brilliant. And then we'll get into the crazy stuff. Why does it say that they feared God? Maybe they didn't do it because they didn't have a heart to kill a baby. I don't know what I would do. Right? Kill the baby. Maybe they did it because they were passionate people. Maybe they didn't do it because they are, very good-hearted people. Why does it say Vatiren? And how do you know it's Vatiren? I'm sorry? If it's them, it could be. What does that have to do with Yirat Hashem? Which means they were told, kill the babies, right? I don't want to get into politics again because they always make fun. I'm told not to talk too much about politics. But there was a whole discussion in the United States. What are you allowed to do? What Yes, I'm sure people who say don't do something, where do you think they're coming from? I don't know if they're coming from fear of God, right? Where are they coming from? No? I think they care about the babies or whatever it is, right? Who wants to kill a baby? He says something brilliant. I don't know if you... Okay, here we go. So I'm sitting at this meeting. I'm Shifra and Pua, which would be interesting. And I'm here with the Paro board. Paro says to me, kill all the babies. Oh, I'm sorry, kill all the male babies. Sorry, kill all the male babies. Okay. He leaves. I have this conversation with the Jewish board. What should we do? What do you think? If we say no, what's going to happen? They're going to kill
Us.
What's going to happen after that?
Somebody else will do
Somebody
it.
else will do it. So wait. Maybe we should stay on the job. Let's kill some babies and save some babies. And maybe by the end of this conversation, it'll end up being a mitzvah to kill some babies. Not a woman. That's the beauty of a woman. It's fear of God. I don't run this world. God runs this world. I do what I have to do. But, no buts. That's the chidush. And that's what God says. The schut nashim tzidkaniyot. That's a big thing. Because the moment you start with the, I'm starting with the, let me do this. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do this. No compromise. But no compromise meaning because I have faith in God. Because the moment I compromise, it's like I'm saying, I have to save the world. You don't have to save the world. You have to do what you have to do. But when? No. It's a huge thought process that Rabbi Dr. He's a psychologist, and he's right. He says that was the greatness of Shifra and Pua. Because you're going to tell me that girls didn't want to kill babies? That is very special. But you'll find a lot of people who won't do that. But you won't find a lot of people who did it because of Yirat Elohim. Because they had faith and by the way, when it says fear of God, fear always here means awe. You know what awe means? It doesn't mean that they're afraid that God's going to put them in detention. It's awe. Like, whoa, like God runs this world. Nice? I want to share with you 3 problems that people... Okay, so that was that. And again, that's the greatness of women. And it is the greatness of women. Most women are like that. I mean, right? All women, right. Should have said that. Never say all, Okay. No, don't turn the page. I have a few problems. The biggest problem I have is that anytime I teach this or tutor this, Rashi said, we're going to go not like Rashi right now. So if you're a big Rashi descendant, don't be upset. Rashi claims that these 2 women were Yocheved and Miriam. Yocheved was Moshe's mother, and Miriam was Moshe's. They just write their names. Who gave them these names? Whose names are they? Which means, where does Shifra and Pua come from? Are they Egyptian names? If they're Egyptian names, so did Paro give them the names? Right? Well, these are names when they went to public school in Mitzrayim. Like, we're not sure where this comes from. So if they're Miriam and Yocheved, say Yocheved and Miriam, like you do every other time. Come on, that's a pretty solid question. Kids ask me that when I tutor, or when I teach, and I don't have a great answer for that. I don't want to give them the answer that I'm about to give you. That's the first. Look at the first pasuk. Vayomer Melech Mitzrayim. Melech Mitzrayim said, Lam Yaldot Ha-Ivriyot. Tell me two ways to learn that. So the English here does it the way Rashi does it. The Hebrew midwives. Give me another way to do it, to explain. The midwives of the Jewish people. Not that they were Jewish midwives. They were the midwives of the Jewish people. Ooh. Wait till you turn the page. Don't turn it yet. Don't turn it yet. Oh, the third question is just a logical question. That's up to you guys. How dumb is Paro to hire two Jewish girls to kill other Jewish babies? Oh, if they're Yocheved and Miriam, they're doing it. I mean, how stupid is he? Right? You want to get the job done, right? Take Christina and what's her name, whatever, right? And say, get into the hospital. There are no nurses, there are no midwives, they're all of us, right? Get them and do the job. Come on, that's a solid question. Based on those three solid questions, this is just interesting. There's a man called Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid. Okay, you see it? The second paragraph. He was a very famous man. He believed that Shifra and Pua were not Yocheved and Miriam. We're canceling that whole Yocheved and Miriam story. He claims they were Goyim that eventually became Gerim. They were the non-Jewish midwives in Mitzrayim. And that answers all three questions. So their names were Shifra and Pua. It wasn't Yocheved and Miriam. And Paro hired non-Jewish people. And did something just turn off? Yes. Wow. God's really listening, girls. God's listening. See? You don't think he does. And yada, 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 yada. Okay, so that's pretty big. Which means, okay, obviously, I just... No. So there is a Perush that says it was Yocheved and Miriam based on the Midrash, 100%. But there are in Midrashim, there's two conflicting Midrashim. One assumes, again, a lot of the stuff comes from the text. So therefore, how do you learn the text? Which means this makes more sense, this makes more sense. Yes?
You could also say that if it was not Jewish midwives, the Jewish women would not call the Egyptian midwives.
They wouldn't...
Especially after a few requests.
Oh, they wouldn't... so that was his wisdom of doing it that way. That's an excellent answer. But again, I'm offering you this what Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid said. This is not... I'm going to say this on tape. I'm not here to promote conversion here. That's not the point. The point is that it's amazing that so much of our Jewish history has non-Jewish girls who convert. David HaMelech comes from whom? Ruth. Ruth is a Moabite. Okay? A Jewish girl a Moabite woman who was very spiritually initiated. It's just an amazing thing that women who converted play such a role. One more, but this is hands down. No, not yet. Okay, this I have to say quickly. It's 10:02, so I got a minute. Number 9. Everybody knows this, but we can't ignore it. The next unbelievable woman. There are 3 women in the last couple of Parashiot who really took matters into their own hands. Going beyond what's called even crossing a border where no one's taking care of this, I'm going to take care of this. One was, which I really don't want to get into the story, that is the daughters of Lot, if anybody knows that story. Two was, we referred to it the last term, Tamar, right, with Yehuda, matters in Pharaoh. And now, the daughter of the Gadol Ador. And everybody, if you don't know this, but you have to be careful, because if you tell this to your children, you're sort of telling your children, if you see something that daddy does wrong, maybe you should speak up. I don't know how this works. But it's amazing. Can you imagine if she didn't speak up? Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Okay. So where do we get this from? Again, look at the reference. Look at the text. The text says, Vayelech ish mi beit Levi, vayikach et bat Levi. The man from the Shevet of Levi took the woman from the Shevet of Levi. And who is these people? So it's Moshe's parents, right? It's Amram and Yocheved. So there's a whole discussion why it doesn't say their name. I think a cute one, why it doesn't say their name. Your kid could become a Moshe even though you're not the best people in the world. Every kid could become a Moshe. You don't need yichus. You don't need to come from the greatest rabbi in the world. Even if you're no name, your kid could become a Moshe. Sideshow. Okay, here we go. He took her and he married her. Wait a minute. He married her and he had Moshe. Come on, guys, come on. He married her and he had Moshe. Talk to me. What number child is Moshe? 3, right? Miriam, Aaron, Moshe. So he's already married to her. What do you mean he took her and married her and had Moshe? Says Rashi. It's very long, so I'll just tell it to you. Famous Midrash. Girls, you have to imagine the picture. Amram is one of the heads of the rabbis. What word do you want to call it? Chief rabbi, head of the he's the guy. He's the guy. Sits up there in shul. He made a decision. Same problem with the men before. What was his decision when they started killing the babies? No more. No more babies, guys. That's it. Just like the Socialist Party is telling you. No more babies. So he separated. I mean, I don't know if that means he threw her out of the house. He separated, whatever it means, right? What changed? His daughter Miriam. Now, how old can Miriam be already? Right? We're not talking about a 50-year-old woman with 3 PhDs, okay? Miriam turns to her father and says, I'm sorry she said it, but I'm sure she said it nicely. You're worse than Paro. Paro wants to kill only the boys. You're killing everybody. And he listened. And he listened. I want to imagine if she wouldn't have had this conversation. If she wouldn't have had this conversation, there wouldn't be emotion. So it's just amazing to me, right? The strength of women. Again, obviously she waited to the point that something has to be said, and she said it. And it was accepted. It's amazing, the role of women. And people will tell me that women don't play a role in this talk. I don't know where they're coming from. Okay? Maybe they're in the wrong shul. Maybe they're reading it backwards. I don't know what they're reading. And finally, back to, and had the child. Okay. And the bottom of 4. And finally, the heroine of these parshiot is clearly not Jewish. Clearly not Jewish. And I'm going to tell you 2 words that I did say once, and I'm amazed that I saw more people agree. Okay, what's the girl's name? So the Torah says that they put Moshe, right? And, they couldn't hide him anymore, and they put him in the thing. But Tered bat Paro, that was funny. Paro isn't a Avodah Zarah. Okay. But Tered bat Paro, and the daughter of Paro went, Lirchotz ala Yaor, with her Na'arot, and of course she sees the what? Teva, and she stretches. Everybody knows the story of stretching the arm, right? Everybody knows that. Which of course, once again, shows us, what does that mean she stretched her arm? Whatever it means, I don't want to go into it, I said it 1,000 times. I'm not, whatever, it's not important. What is that it seemed impossible, and what did she do? I'm going to do whatever I can do. That's what a woman does. If something seems impossible, I do what I need to do, and let God do the rest. Okay, right? TMI. What's TMI?
Too much information.
Why do I need to know if she's taking a bath? That's like insane. I mean, there are 1,000 stories in the Torah that this guy showed up there. Do I know why he went there? She was by the river. It could say, Vatera, right? Vat Paro went to what you call, and she went with her maidens.
She didn't worship the needles.
You ready? You ready? She wasn't Rosh Chodesh, she went to do laundry. Okay, Bat Paro did not do laundry. Trust me. Trust me. Can I tell you now what happened? You're going to be shocked. Nobody?
She didn't worship the needles.
You know where she was going? To convert.
Really?
Wait. Wait. That's what I found. And that makes sense. She was on her way to conversion. She was already. Because, can I ask you a little bit? You know, you're talking about Paro's daughter. Paro is the guy who's making this rule. From where to where? There's a woman, right, who's the daughter of Paro. She sees a baby. What, like nothing? This is a woman who was already spiritual before. And if you let me stretch this a little bit, this I didn't find, I would say mitzvah goreret mitzvah. Do you know what that means, mitzvah goreret mitzvah? You do one mitzvah, God will throw you another mitzvah. And it's because she was going, or she got the schutz of saving Moshe Rabbeinu. So it's there. It's there. What made her do that? Maybe she went to a Project Inspire weekend.
She went to Chabad of...
There was a base Chabad in Cairo, and then the yes, yes. Oh, maybe.
okay.
Okay, that is possible.
Boy.
Now, this is even based on a pasuk in Mishlei that is part of Eshet Chayil. That's where I got it from. And the pasuk is, it's right there. That's the story of Batya. I don't know why she's a little crooked, but she is. The pasuk says in Eshet Chayil that we sing for our wife, Vatakam be'od laila. She stood up when it was still night. Night, of course, is a metaphor, like we always say, night is darkness. In her darkness, she stood up. She got according to one interpretation of sages, composed like that, refers to a uniquely outstanding woman. Okay, one is Batya, one is Rachav. Do you know about the story of Rachav? We'll leave it for later. That's the woman who married Yoshua, Yericho, Rachav, with the red string? No? Okay, let's move on. Some other time. Something just happened? Are we okay? Oh, okay. All right, converted to Judaism. The Talmud relates that Batya, there it is, you see it? The Talmud relates that Batya set out one morning to immerse herself in order to convert to Judaism. And she heard the cry, yada, 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 and yada, yada, yada. Understand. Where's God's recognition? Very simple. His name was not Moshe until that second. The Gemara goes through many names that Moshe was called. One was called Tuvia, because it says that was it there? Kitovu? Did I have it here? No, I don't have it. No?
Yeah, that she saw he was good.
He was good, right? Kitovu. Some people called him a Vigdor. There are like 5, 6 names. None of them were Moshe. None. Who called him Moshe? She did. So Batya calls him Moshe because Minamayim B'Shitiyu. Take a look at page 6. Okay, not bad. We're getting there. And therefore, the very first time that Hashem sees Moshe. No, that's terrible. Sorry, I didn't mean that. First time that Hashem speaks to Moshe, he calls him Moshe. Doesn't call him Tuvia, doesn't call him Avigdor, calls him the name that Batya gave him. That, ladies, I think is huge, right? Huge confirmation and, validation that what she did was amazing. The word Moshe, by the way, for those who remember, I'm here. I want to do 2 quick things that I like doing. I got 4 minutes. Something nice. I've done this before. It says that Moshe was a very humble man, right? Moshe was the biggest anaf. It's on top of the page. So a lot of rabbis say one of the reasons he was able to be humble, how do we be humble? How does a person become humble? So they actually said that Abraham was humble because he said, Anochi afar ve'efer, right? I am dust and ashes. Okay, I would say, see a therapist. If a kid writes in the composition, in Yeshiva Flatbush. I feel like ashes. Okay, I don't call that kid humble, okay? Sure he's humble. You know why? Twice he should not have been alive. He was thrown into Kivshan HaEsh, should have been ashes. He fought against the four kings, he should have been Afar. He walks around daily saying, by the grace of God, I walk. That's big. When a person wakes up and says, I'm alive? Wow, thank you. That's when you're humble. Moshe, min hamayim neshitihu. He should have been dead like all the other baby boys. He's not. That's why he was humble. So that's her message to Moshe that stuck, that made him humble. You got it? I'm assuming that not everybody saw the Torah takeaway minute that we did on video. There is a phone ring. You did? You see mine? Yes, what did I say to you? Okay. So I want to say it because it was such a...
If you start, I remember.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. But you don't understand. I recorded it. You know how I talk, right? The guy tells me you have 60 seconds. I was like 80 minutes, you know? He goes, you got to go faster. Okay, I want to show you something nice that I saw. It was so nice. This is in Shemot. It says, Hashem, Vayoma Moshe, right? Let me see what's going on with the what? With the bush, right? You guys there, right? Yeah. And he says, Vayah Hashem Pisali. Very nice. Pasuk. What's the first thing Hashem told Moshe to do? Who? No. So what was the question? Okay. Vayomer, he says, Al tikram alom. Don't come here. What do you got to do? Shal na'alecha me'ar raglecha. Take your shoes off. So I heard Rabbi Yoel Gold ask a great question. If God didn't want him stepping on the, like, if you don't want your kids stepping on the living room, when should you tell him to take the shoes off? Before he walks into the living room. Don't let him walk into the living room and say, take your shoes off. So why didn't Hashem tell him before he stepped on the holy ground, right? I know you're stepping on any ground. Don't go there with shoes. Great question. The answer is the following. Look at the pasuk before. Vayar Hashem. God saw Kisar Lirot. He saw that Moshe cared enough to see what's going on, right? People go through a lot of things, ladies. They see a lot of things in this world, and they don't see anything. They're too busy. But Moshe took the time to see something. He was dedicated. And, of course, he calls Moshe, and what was Moshe's answer? Hineni. Whoa. You care about people, and you're ready to work? Now, the land you're standing on just became holy. And the lesson is, it's our job, going full circle when we started in this world, take this world and elevate it. Now it becomes holy. If you make it holy. Our job is to walk around with Taken Olam B'Malchut Shaddai, to walk around and make things holy. And that was his message. Second message, the Kotzker Rebbe says, why did he tell him to take his shoes off? It's very cute. He says, you're becoming a leader now. You're going to become like the president and the rabbi. Make sure that everybody you step on, you feel. That's a beautiful thing. Because sometimes when somebody gets into the role of leadership, they forget who the people are. So take your shoes off. And the third, and the most important to everybody who's a teacher in this room or a parent, why was the burning bush the symbol that God wanted Moshe to see? And he said, Moshe, do you want to be a leader? You want to be a rabbi? You want to be a teacher? You want to be a parent? Learn not to burn out. Burning bush burns, but doesn't get consumed. Now that's 100%. As a matter of fact, you're going to laugh at me? Don't laugh at me. I'll say this on tape. There are times that people ask, kids have brachot. In my family, if you have a birthday, you say the bracha. My bracha now is, bless me that I shouldn't burn out. I'm serious. That's the bracha. The bracha is that whatever a person is doing, that the passion should stay there for as long as possible. Because, life has its challenges, and it's not that easy. Agreed? Mm-hmm. Should we keep going until somebody comes in? Yeah. Okay, so I don't have enough time. How about if I just tell you what it is, and we like that better, right? This is Spark Notes for the next page, okay? A very crazy pasuk. So they're standing by Yam Suf in this week's Parsha, and they're frightened, right? They don't know what to do, right? The stream behind them, in front of them. So they say, Moshe, pray for us, right? Moshe prays. Hashem actually says, Ma titz'ak elai. What are you davening for? Move! What are you davening for? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Isn't that what a Jew does when they're in trouble? Aren't they supposed to daven? To a point. You can daven all you want, but get up and do something. You got to get up and make an effort. And the pasuk says, they went b'toch hayam vayavasha. Why? Because God says, show me that you have faith in me. Make the move. Don't wait till it dries. And everybody knows. It went, Nachshon went first. Many people jumped in until it was up to here. So if you're waiting for something, davening is great. Girls, please don't, I didn't tell you not to daven. Say Tehillim. But that's not enough. Get up and show that you think your Tehillim and your davening will work and make the move. That's a big deal. Okay. It's not much. I guess no one's davening in school today, so because I said Matzitzak Elai. Look at that. No one came in. This is great. So let me get the last thing that's on the last page. Why is it so important? Because the Gemara says that there are two things that are compared to Kriyat Yam Suf that are as difficult as Kriyat Yam Suf. One is making a living, and two is finding the Basher, finding the Shidduch. Very difficult. Why are they being compared? So most people say, because you have to understand that just like at Yam Suf, things like all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden. I mean, they never thought, how are they going to get out of this, right? They didn't see, the Ten Commandments movie, so they didn't know that the sea was going to split. So all of a sudden, things got okay. In business, it could work like that. Things are very tough, and then all of a sudden, something happens. And of course, in Shidduchim, it could also work like that. How am I ever going to do this? How am I ever going to get people married off? Like that. But the second lesson is what we just learned. God runs the world, but you got to get up and do something. You have to do hishtadlut. You have to do your part in order for God to make it work. Thanks for listening, guys. You were great. And we'll see you next week with God's help.